You know, this does not surprise me, not one little bit, but a convicted killer has been spotted at the anti-Israel encampment at Syracuse University in New York. All true. Uriel Warren, a convicted killer, was cited, and he was convicted of manslaughter back in 1996 after bashing in the victim's head with a firearm. And despite concerns being raised to the Syracuse administration, Warren had been spotted at the encampment several times since April 29th. Nobody seems to care. He was eventually arrested this past Friday by the university police, with one pro-Palestine group posted on social media a picture of Warren in handcuffs with the caption stating that he was doxxed by Zionists. He's a killer. These are the kinds of people that are attracted to these protests: violent murderers, some rapists, common thieves, people that are certainly not students, of course. And the universities are allowing these protests, and they're ultimately putting their own students in harm's way, and they don't seem to care. Education, no longer a safe pursuit. Here to discuss this with me is campus reform correspondent and student at the University of Georgia, Luke Winkler. Luke, good to have you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, they don't seem to have this problem at the University of Georgia. They don't have these problems at certain places, right? University of Alabama, not an issue. North Carolina, no, got rid of the problem there, didn't they? Some of these southern schools, the frat boys came out, they sang God Bless America and the Star-Spangled Banner, and they protected the flag, and they said, nah, not on my time, pal. Take that and move along. But on other places, I just saw in Ann Arbor, University of Michigan, they've moved their encampment outside the regents' houses now. And some of this stupidity continues to go on and on and on. Why?
I don't know. It's almost like education has almost become like a partisan issue, because we see, again, in California and in New York, at UCLA and at Columbia, these protests got to insane levels. But then in Florida and in Georgia, under the leadership of Governor DeSantis and Governor Kemp, certain political leaders like, no, this is not going to happen. Governor of Mississippi said, no, this is not going to happen. And I don't know why. I can't even pinpoint it necessarily, other than these universities have created an environment that kind of fosters these echo chambers for these far left groups. And it's really discouraging and really hurts the education of students who's on campus.
You know, here we are with kids that just want to go to school or enjoy their commencement after 4 years or 5 years of hard work, or maybe they're getting a master's degree or a doctorate. They just want to go up and get their degree. You've got all this chaos and commotion. I mean, Jerry Seinfeld can't even do a commencement speech without getting a bunch of people screaming and carrying on and acting like petulant children. I'm sorry, Luke, what's wrong with your generation? May I just ask that?
I really don't know. I mean, it is crazy. Like, a commencement ceremony is an apolitical event. It is a time for celebration. It is a time to say, I am on to the next part of my life. And instead, these people want to use it as a political event and to make a political statement. Like, at least for one day, rest the pro-Hamas stuff, rest every sort of virtue signaling activity you want to do, and just celebrate your graduation. I mean, if I'm somebody and I'm not a political person at all, I have to be sickened by what I'm seeing, that there are people that are disrupting my graduation ceremony over something that is happening 4,000 miles away.
Yeah, it's frightening, though. You know, some of these campuses allowed the violence to get completely out of hand. Portland State, UCLA, Columbia. I mean, this is a wide range of schools. Portland State, certainly not Columbia. UCLA is a public school. Columbia is a private school. But they have one thing in common. They have this underlying hatred for America, it seems. Look, where does that come from? Does this come from public schools when kids are in elementary and middle school and high school? Is it something they get on TikTok? It's a serious question. People want to know, where does this hatred for America come from? Because, by God, look around the world. You think this is a bad place? We're the most culturally diverse, huge country in the world. You know, China's not. India's not. America's the third biggest country in the world. We have more people with more religions and backgrounds and skin tones than any country on earth. And they want to call us racist and hateful and all these terrible things. Where does that come from?
I really think it comes from the curriculums and the professors specifically, because this isn't super prevalent in elementary, middle, and high school. In certain states, it would be in California and New York, obviously. But I really think it comes from the professors. Last year in my political science class, before I switched to being a business major, my professor I had at the time actually made me want to switch away from poli-sci. He hated America. Every single class, he was just bashing on Trump, bashing on Trump, bashing on Trump. Whenever he wasn't, Trump's not even the president anymore. Please talk about your president you have right now. And I think you just see this among professors. It's just hatred for America. They were joining at Columbia and UCLA. They were joining the students with protesting, which is illegal because they were doing illegal activities. And every single one of the professors that did that should have been fired. There's this is not.
I agree with that. And I'll take it a step further. Anybody, I mean, it's one thing to join a protest. You're out there, you hold your sign, you say whatever, fine. But as soon as you start throwing up tents and building barricades with pallets and boards or whatever, when you break into buildings like they did at Portland State, the library, or Hamilton Hall at Columbia, at that point you're out of school. I mean, you have I'm going to guess there where you go to school at Georgia, you have a code of conduct that you must sign. I'm going to guess that's true, isn't it?
100% correct, yes.
And if you violate that code of conduct, Luke, whether it's your behavior or your grades or whatever it might be, you're out. Pretty simple, isn't it?
Should be for some people. I mean, our dean of students actually, as soon as we had some encampments happen, we had 16 people get arrested day of. Our school immediately said, we are not going to deal with this. We are not going to have you. You're allowed to protest, and that is fine, but we are not going to have you break the law willingly. And to see this happen at other universities where you're supposed to learn is so discouraging. It makes people not want to go to college.
Right. Hey, Luke, I really appreciate you being here. I do. How long have you been there at Georgia?
I'm a second year, so I'm 2 years.
All right. So, just repeat after me. Say one more thing, Luke, before you go. Just say this. Go blue. Can you do that for me?
I cannot. What happened in the Orange Bowl a couple years ago?
Cut his mic. Just cut his mic. We're done there. Okay, good conversation. Luke, I really appreciate you being here, my friend. Thank you. You're a good sport. Thank you very much.
Good to see you. Thank you so much.